everyone, welcome back to our course. So today we'll try to render out to-do list, and what we'll do, we'll use a mock API, but at this point I'll not call an API from our app yet, but I'll just copy and paste the JSON I need to render my UI, and later in later stages of this course you'll be able to learn how to really fetch real-time data and then render it. So I'm using the JSON placeholder, and I'm going here, and they have a mock API for to-dos list. And what I will do, I will just copy paste this one. I will not copy the whole thing, just a few items to use them. And what I did in my project, I created a mock folder, and here I created a JS file, JavaScript file, export default, create my constants. You can name anything you want. Then I put here some items of to-dos list. Now what I would do, I need a component to render for me to that list, and I'll create a new component here. I'll call it list, for example, and under that I need an index.js and const list equal. For now it doesn't have any property, but later we will do it, and return. And let's say it have a div, and inside this div we have, for example, what we have in the list, we have title and completed. So what I will do, I'll just create, for example, I want to structure the thing while I'm going as well. So we have a list, a wrapper list, and then we have items. So I'll call div one class name is item for now. We'll see how to do this later. And that item, it will have two things. It will have my title. Let's call it, I think, let's make it an H4, for example, and let's say class name is item title, and let's say, for example, now just fake one, my title, and it will have another item which is, for example, let's say P, and that one will hold the completion. Okay, I'll say completed for now. Okay, and this one will be my list. And what I will do, I need to export this JSX, export default list. And then I will import this one in my pages. So I'll do this list, and to give an option to import it for me, and I'll just close this. So if I go back to my home page, that's my list coming, my title and completed. Good. Now what you want actually is, for that list, I want to have as many as I want, right? It can be this much. Okay, so you see that coming? Let's cite it first, and then we can move to next. We add our module, so list.module.css, and I'll call this list wrapper, and for now I don't need any style there, but the item, I need a style there. Let's make a display flex, so I have things aligned. And actually this one I'll do the same as I did for the header. I'll say width is 100%, but max width is 90%, and margin, I'll add some margin on the top. I'll say, for example, 40 pixels on the top, auto on the right, 0 bottom, and auto on the left. Okay, and I'll come here. I have to import my style again, if you remember. Import and say styles from list slash dot module.css, and I'll come here. I'll say this one point to my object styles dot list, and this one point to my object styles dot item. Okay, see there, they are aligned. I did quick some styling, so all what I have done is just add some border around my list and make a radius in the corner to make it cuter, and I came to my item. I did some padding up and down, left and right, and also add some border bottom here to make them separated. And I made sure all my title section is 30% just to make it look much nicer. Now we want to have this data coming from somewhere, not just hard-coded like this. So what we can do, I can import for now my JSON from to-dos. So what I call it is to-dos, import to-dos from my mocks slash to-dos. And what you can do, you'll come right here. Instead of hard coding all this, I can do mapping. So map is not something related to only React. It is a JavaScript function. So you can map through an array and do things. Like so it's normal function, maybe you will be doing some calculations, you may be checking if something exists. But for us now, I want to map through my array, which is to do, and each array I have an object, and I will render the title and completed. Okay, so what also map, and then I'll say to do, for example, call this anything you want, and then what I will do for each one, I will return a JSX, and the JSX will be basically for me this here, and my title will be, for example, my to-do dot, and I'll see what item I have here. It's title. So to-do dot title. And completed. So completed here I have either false or true, right? So I can't return false or true. So what I would say is if to-dos dot completed, so if that is true, okay, then I will return a sentence called completed. Otherwise, I will return not completed. So this condition here is like standard condition you will do also in JavaScript, right? And you can do same thing inside your JSX. If you remember, JSX is not real HTML, it's just a JavaScript extension. So you can do that. So you just have the opening and closing brackets, and you can do your logic here. So what I would like to remove all this here, which is hard coded. Click save, and okay, I got something wrong. To-dos is not defined. So I go back here, I'll say const, I'll declare it, and then I'll come down here as we do for our components. I'll say export from this module, export default to-dos. Save, and there we go. See, I got all my list here. As you can see, some titles are very big, so I will do one thing in styling. The parent is display flex, so I will say the P1. So I'll come to my styling, I'll say the item space P, so whatever paragraph beneath that item, margin left auto, and should push that for me to the right corner. You see that? It's the right corner. And here I'll say keep my person, because I know this text is too small and that's how much it will be. I'll say okay, keep it 70%. Okay, so good. So now I have list of my to-dos and if they are completed or not. And that's all returned from our actual JSON object. So that's how you map through a JSON on array and return your items instead of hard coding them.